The regular meeting of the Board of Education of Perry Local School District is called to order at 8 a.m. in the Trevor Center Conference Room. Roll call.
Mrs. Steele? Here. Mrs. Foley?
Here.
Mr. Lydic?
Here.
Mr. Roberts absent. Mrs. Tresca?
Here, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Committee reports. We had a wellness committee meeting and there was a little bit of discussion about some of the PAC, was gonna go on with the PAC and allowing our athletes to be able to access the PAC in the evenings without a membership. It's something that we're gonna talk about a little bit further. Our high school athletes and I just to be able to go in and work out and do shoot around, use the weight room only supervised unless they're old enough to use the upstairs weight room. And so there's a little bit of discussion about that. I think that was about it. I'm trying to remember. We met with Mrs. Soder. There's gonna be a wellness week. Instead of every other year, they do the mock car accident. So this year they're gonna do a wellness week that's being driven by the students. So they'll have various activities. One day there'll be a pickleball day. One day there's a yoga day. There's a simulator for intoxicated driving or distracted driving. So there's a couple different simulators they can do. So that's gonna be the same week in April, I think that it usually is. So that sounds great. And I think that's it.
We have a safety.
Yes, safety committee. I think you go ahead.
Yeah. For the safety committee, the police were called you remind me, the police were called here on last week to come to the campus for an alarm. It was just an alarm.
Oh, yeah, there was the alarm that went around all of Lake County that went off. It ended up being something out of Willoughby East Lake, but all the lights went off everywhere in all the school districts, but it
And I
ended up,
followed up,
yeah.
came up here, turned it off. And then there really wasn't anything from fire.
No,
And there's a concern with the doors by the gym needing replaced because they don't work bi-directionally. Sometimes we really use them as exits only. And so we're looking into how much either to replace, or Jim Smith asked fire to look into, could we eliminate at least some of those doors and possibly wall it off?
those are the doors that go straight out of the gym to the hallway, straight up, so that we don't use for entry or anything like that, like unless there's an emergency. I think that was it. I just went for Jesse because he wasn't able to make it, so I was observing.
For those, as far as those doors go, I know that an issue has been they keep being propped open. And that's just a safety concern. So during volleyball season, I know a lot of times they're propped open. People are, not going in the proper way where you're gonna pay. But if anyone's sneaking in there, it's just, we want to keep everyone safe. We got to keep an eye on that. That's probably why it came up. I think I brought it up a few times.
That was part of it, and part of it was them just not working properly all the time. It's an older building than the original.
Okay,
I had
sure.
an economic development meeting and we talked about some property down on Route 20 further down. Potentially being looked at near Perry Flick Road for some sort of data center down there as well. And then I think there hasn't been a governmental affairs meeting scheduled in a while. And I'm gonna request that one gets scheduled because I think we need an update on the number of homes being built in our
Yeah.
community that could potentially impact us pretty significantly. Cause there's upwards of 300 being built, so that's important to know.
Is that it? Administrative update?
Thank you. First and foremost, obviously, our thoughts and prayers have been out there for Mr. Roberts and their family as they embrace yet another challenge. Word is they're gonna get him back here from Florida next week. So again, we wish him well in his travels, and we know the kind of resilience that family has, and he's gonna bounce back. But so good news, we're gonna get him back in Ohio here sometime next week, and so it might be an opportunity for us to reach out and for well wishes. Congratulations to our National Honor Society members. We inducted, I think, 8 the other night. That's something I probably will do when we're being recorded on an April meeting. And I just want to thank the board, for your due diligence and your work. This week, there's an addendum where I've requested approval for my last day to be July 31st, 2025. And so that'll be on the addendum. Again, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. None of you were on the board when I was selected, so you inherited me. I apologize for that. But I will tell you, you've made a wonderful selection for CFO. I have every bit of faith that you're going to do the same for the next superintendent. And I would just say, critical to their success is that you continue to support them. Anytime you make moves like that, the few folks that are going to criticize will be loud. And I would just encourage you to continue to provide the support that the next superintendent will need to ensure their success. So thank you for that work. That concludes my report.
Is there any public participation? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Foley,
Yes.
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mrs. Presker,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilly.
Yes.
Dr. Thompson, superintendent report?
Thank you. We have approval of a paper pencil testing resolution. We're stepping back into the 20th century. The board is asked to approve the assessment resolution below as recommended by the local superintendent and director of student services. The board is asked to approve travel to out-of-state professional development for Dr. Malczewski to attend the AI show at ASU and GSV Summit in San Diego, California, April 5th through the 7th, as recommended by the local superintendent. This opportunity is being provided by Martha Poling Jennings Foundation and will be providing $2,500 to cover travel and lodging, which is a stretch if you know what it's like to live in California. But we'll get there. Approval of SPED model policies and procedures resolution. The board is asked to approve the resolution below as recommended by the local superintendent and director of student services. And this concludes my superintendent's report.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion?
I'm excited to hear more about that conference after you attend. It's gonna be,
It's taken off really well in the district too for our pioneering teachers, and I just feel like we're ahead of the curve right now, and let's keep it that way.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mrs. Presker,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilly.
Yes.
Mrs. Foley.
yes.
And Dr. Thompson, an addendum?
Yeah, somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, I have oh no, that's your report. I'm sorry, Madam President.
Do we do that or do I? Okay. I move that we accept the resignation of the superintendent, Dr. Thompson, effective July 31st, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Well, thank you, Dr. Thompson, for all your time, years, effort, and we appreciate everything you've done for the district and leaving us in a good place.
Well, we got some work to do.
There'll be a lot more discussion in a future date, I'm
I
sure.
think so.
Yeah, we'll see.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gilly,
Yes.
Mrs. Foley,
No, your turn.
Thank you. Approval of another out-of-state travel to Slippy Rock. The board is asked to approve travel to an out-of-state varsity track meet in Slippy Rock, Pennsylvania on Friday, April 18th, 2024, as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. The team will use district bus transportation to and from the meet, and it's approximately 75 miles away, so it's well within the 500-mile limitation. This concludes my superintendent's addendum report.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gilly,
Yes.
Mrs. Foley.
Yes.
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mrs. Presker.
Yes. Ms. Kiva?
A, approval of financial reports. The board is asked to approve the financial reports from February 2025 as recommended by the chief financial officer. B, tax budget resolution. The board is asked to accept the rates listed below as determined by the Lake County Budget Commission, authorize the necessary tax levies, and authorize the chief financial officer to certify them to the county auditor as recommended by the chief financial officer. C, contracts and agreements, power for schools. Board is asked to approve the July 2025 through June 2027 power for school sales confirmation renewal agreement as recommended by the chief financial officer. B, contracts and agreements, Educational Service Center of Western Reserve update, section 4.7. The board is asked to approve the addendum to the Educational Service Center of Western Reserve agreement attached as recommended by the chief financial officer. The approval of expenditure, S3 Technologies. The board is asked to approve an expenditure of $31,748.36 to S3 Technologies for theater camera equipment, switcher training and labor, as well as the removal of obsolete equipment cable as recommended by the chief financial officer and director of communications. F, acceptance of grant funds, Martha Holding Jennings Foundation. The board is asked to accept a Martha Holding Jennings grant in the amount of $2,500 and to approve the appropriations for such grant as recommended by the local superintendent and chief financial officer. These are the funds that are to be used for Dr. Maltese to participate in the AI show in Diego. G, acceptance of grant funds lent. The board is asked to accept the Gene P. Lentz Memorial Grant from the Martha Holding Foundation in the amount of $1,200 and to approve appropriations for such grants as recommended by the local superintendent and chief financial officer. These grants were awarded to Mrs. Royko and Mrs. Rainbow. That concludes my financial.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
The switch. The switcher, that was unexpected expenditure. It wasn't something we were already planning for.
The theater equipment,
Yeah,
I would say it's unexpected.
right, which is not needed. It was in the, but it wasn't in the capital improvement.
But no, it's not.
Right. It was just unexpected.
Yeah, sometimes the theater does, fall off of Miss radar a little bit because that's Alan's, overlooking. A lot of that equipment is end of life and we just kind of wait. And then next thing you know, pop, we gotta, change out spotlights and then, a lot of the sound stuff is technical and I don't know much about it, but, that's gonna be another update continuous. To make sure we keep that theater nice.
Yeah, we definitely want to keep supporting the theater and choir and all the. Sorry, it's early.
Is that something that we need to kind of put on our radar for, like, doing a sweep of it to see?
Yeah, Alan would love that, because, he keeps reminding me that we don't have a budget, he does. Because it really is we just,
Well, he
it's
doesn't
hard to
have a
predict.
budget.
We find the money, but it's really hard to predict, when
Right.
things are going there, like, back when we bought the Kurt, that was, and cherry red, thank you very much, if they didn't think it was gonna be nice, but I'm telling you, it's beautiful.
And most of that we purchased under Mr. Blunt's tenure, perhaps you know how old it all is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that, it's, I don't wanna compare it to special ed funding, but it's a little bit like that, where
Right, right. Well, even home budgeting, like,
But yeah,
it's things flow that you weren't expecting and.
It's also not like a safety concern or one of those
Right.
things like a roof or like a pipe bursting. It's kind of, you don't know the end of life.
I've seen a lot of movies which sets things and fall on.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Not even go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say that was under your tenure. That, yeah.
The facility is 30 years old. And particularly in the theater, but other areas too, technologies have changed too, dramatically. So a lot of times it's not just a replacement, it's an upgrade to new technologies.
Okay. Roll call please.
Mrs. Dresser,
Yes.
Mrs. Yoli,
Yes.
Mrs. Foley,
Yes.
Mr. Light.
Yes.
Is there any unfinished business? New business, I would like to make a motion to name Joe Clark and Todd Porcello as our finalists for the position of superintendent of your local schools. Is there any discussion?
We had some many excellent candidates. The decision was not made lightly. There was a lot of
Discussion.
and a lot of consideration. Yes, yes. So we were brought many qualified and excellent candidates and it was not an easy decision.
Yeah. We appreciate finding leaders' work in hearing us and narrowing that pool down. Roll call, please. I'm sorry.
I know Alan's on vacation. Bill the bus called me last week and was grumbling that we wasn't getting his information, and he's not here, obviously. So,
There'll be a release out today.
you're gonna
Yeah,
put
it'll
this
go to
out
the
today?
staff
Okay.
first, and then we'll put a release out to, Mr. DeBus so that everyone's informed, and,
Yeah, I assured him we would let him know.
yeah, it's a transparent
We,
process.
yeah, we weren't sure. We weren't keeping
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, yeah,
We had to wait till it was official.
Mhm.
sure. Oh, yeah, yeah, I talked to you last December, and you know, how I said, well, yeah, okay, sorry, whatever.
He can.
I encourage everyone to watch our meetings, talk about everything openly.
Yes, we do.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mrs. Dresker.
Yes.
Mrs. Sealy.
Yes.
Mrs. Fuller.
Yes.
Correspondence and announcement. There will be no classes held March 24th to 28th, 2025 for spring break. The next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 15, 2025 at 5:45 PM in the Trarbrook Center Conference Room. Is there any public participation? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Dresker.
Yes.
Mrs. Sealy.
Yes.
Mrs. Foley.
Yes.
Mr. Leidig.
Yes.